Guys, before I bring them out, show your love, Dragon Con. Let me see that you've earned it. Atlanta, I cannot hear you. Dragon Con, are you ready? All right, well, your job is to show your social media love, break out the smartphones, go to @DragonCon, and tweet the hell out of this thing and make all your friends at home jealous. My name's Aaron Sagers. I'm editor-at-large of Blaster.com and HuffingtonPost.com, and also a fan of the show, and especially of these two awesome guys I'm about to bring up. One awesome guy that I'm about to bring up. But, you know what? It's so much this character's style for him to charge up on stage without waiting for anyone else. I'm going to bring him on out. Show your love for Mr. Colin Cunningham! Look at him go. And he's running around the board. Colin is coming down the aisle. Smacking the hand, right. Cunningham coming back on the stage. And it's Colin Cunningham for the win. So, the first question I have is, where is Drew?
He's in the body.
So yes, actors also need to make use of the facilities.
Yes, they do. We actually, that's one, we don't pee or poop or smell bad ever. We're perfect, awesome.
It's, well, okay, of course we have some microphones over here and over here. You guys hop in line. This is your time. I want to see some people already lining up for questions. I would kindly ask, when you ask a question, keep it to one question per person. Make it an actual question instead of a too much of a long-winded sharing thing. No special requests, and let's not make it too weird. Not too weird, but except for me, who I'm gonna ask. What is a moment that you've had to break scene to go use the bathroom? Like, can you give an example of, like, you had to pee so bad or something where you had to cut scene and run to the potty?
No.
That's never happened.
No, I'm sure it has, but not to me.
Not to you.
Not to me.
But to Drew Roy, who apparently has a very weak bladder, right?
It's like, well, first we were trying to find him, and Drew's like just incredibly reliable and everything. So that's, I don't know where the hell did he go? He was right there, and then he just popped away. So he'll be here very.
It's one of those airline toilets that when you're in there, it just sucks you right through. Yeah. But let's go ahead and take a question. Could
just a special request. Can you keep your mics low so I can read your lips?
Oh, sure, excellent.
Okay, sure. Okay, let's go ahead and take a question from over here. Hi.
Okay, we have Pat here with a question. Hi, Colin. The obvious question, do you wear a wig on the show?
The big question. No, I have 2 weeks to grow it out to that height. But yes, I do. The first 2 seasons, we actually used my wig. I auditioned with the wig that you saw in at least the first 2 years. Auditioned with it because that was, I got a whole wardrobe of stuff, and because I like being a character actor and doing stuff. So that was my wig for the first 2 seasons. Then for the 3rd season, they said we wanted it to be a little bit longer, so they had one totally custom made for me at the cost of $7,000 is how much that wig cost. Yeah. So yes, it is a wig, but it's interesting because I'd literally be working all day for the first couple of years. Working all day, then going to makeup and take everything off because I was done for the day, then go back to say hello to somebody on set. And for years, nobody knew who the hell I was. The honest to God didn't, and it was like a shock, because it really is, it's quite the change, it really is. And you can get within 5 inches of my forehead, and you can see it, it's growing. It's an incredible wig, it really is. But yes, it is a wig, and it was $7,000 to make, so yeah.
Yeah, it's a good wig. It's a damn fine wig.
But it's funny because every now and again, like when I've got it off, like we'll throw it on different people. I wish I had taken photos. So we had Drew's worn the wig. Everybody's worn the wig on the show, and it's just kind of fun,
What is the first thing that someone does when they put on the wig? Because do they affect the Pope character right away and try to do some sort of swagger?
No, if anything, it's like Halloween. It's like, whoa, and you look at yourself in the mirror, and it is. It's pretty cool. So it's a lot of fun. I think Greg Beeman, our producer, he's worn it. He's had the damn wig on. So now I'm getting concerned. All right.
Oh, wait. Okay. Please show your love.
Go back.
Yeah, what, dude? Yeah, go back. Go. All right. Yeah. Actors who never need the restroom. Actors from the amazing Falling Skies wrapping up its 4th season this Sunday. Please show your love for Mr. Colin Cunningham and Mr. Drew Roy. Did they take you all the way down to that gym bathroom where it's like a maze to go all the way? It takes a long time to go down there and come back.
I'm not sure if I went to the bathroom. We went so far.
It was such a long trek, you need to go again now,
Yeah,
right?
exactly.
Yeah. All right, so we're just kicking off the questions. So let's do one over here. Oh, no question. No questions. All right, we'll stick over here. Hi there, from Captain America, in fact.
We have Marina America.
Marina America.
Okay, go ahead, Marina.
Hi, how are you?
Well, thank you.
Good. So I have two.
No, that was your question, sorry.
Okay.
I'm just getting going, yeah.
Okay, I have 2 questions for you. My first question is, have you ever taken something from set and just kept it?
Sorry, say that again. I missed the first little bit.
Have you ever taken something from set?
Taking something from the set.
Just
You
kept
sure
it
have.
and just didn't bring it back.
This is Pope's necklace. Mind me just jumping in. First season, I thought, wow, this will never come back. Or in case it doesn't, I gotta, borrow a little something. So yeah, this is Pope's necklace from season 1, and it never leaves my neck. And then I just go to work, and then I leave work, but I don't take it off and put it back. So yeah, right here.
I don't think I've ever taken anything. Well, I took back when I was shooting those 2 dual-mounted 50 caliber machine guns. I took
one of them. I was gonna say you took the machine.
but they stopped me at the border in Canada. So I think that's the only thing I took a piece of, so when we're running through these action scenes and there's debris flying everywhere, it's actually this like black styrofoam cube that has a little charge on the inside. So when it blows up, it looks like rocks flying everywhere, but it's actually just styrofoam.
Is this for the machine gun?
No, this was just anytime we do like an action sequence. So from the pilot, the very first episode when we're running down that street, I took some because I was just fascinated by my first little piece of little Hollywood magic.
Yeah, very cool. Oh, wait, and it had already detonated? This little
It had,
Oh, okay. Like, otherwise it's going to sit in your bedroom in one day.
I'm waiting to surprise someone.
Shrapnel all over. Cool, thank you. Do we have one over here? You guys are a quiet bunch.
Oh, I have a second question. I'm sure
Okay, well, I'll allow a second question this time.
Okay, my second question is that, so we know the finale is this Sunday. How are you guys going to watch it? Are you guys watching it with fans? Are you
I
guys
was
going to watch it all?
just talking to
That
Drew
is
about
funny.
that. So here's my idea. I don't know if I should say anything because it's obvious. It could get very, very weird. But yeah, the finale is this Sunday, and I mentioned at the table to a couple of people. I thought this would be a fun idea to get some fans, and we'll all just kind of pile onto the bed in my room or whatever. We'll all just watch. I know. So now I don't know what to do because obviously, unless we can find a place, but the fun part of the idea was to not do it in a room like this, although that could be fun too.
Yeah.
But I thought, yeah, cool, let's grab some fans and we'll watch a show in my room or Drew's room, but I mean, obviously that's going to become but that's what I'd like to do. It's going to happen one way or the other. I don't know who
Here's tribute.
Yeah, so anyway, but yeah, I haven't seen it. I don't know if you've seen it, but I really want to see it. So
I'm curious about the little surprise at the very, very end too, of what that will look like.
Which you'll tell all of us right now, right?
So what?
Yeah, so
I'm
what
not even sure what
happens?
you're talking about, so
No? Yeah, all right.
But that's all good.
All right, so apparently slumber party in Colin's room. Somebody's got to bring Doritos and dip and everything. So, all right. A lot of
That's
it.
already there.
This is
Nobody's
Dragon
bring
Con
that.
after all. Hi.
Hi. Okay, so let's say, God forbid, your characters were to die and were to become, and you could write the epitaph for your characters. What would you write?
I got an answer. You lead it off.
That'd be cool. I actually thought it was funny. I was thinking about this on my tombstone. What would it be? It'd be like probably one of 2 things. I'll be right back, or something like "Don't look behind you." Or I'm right there, kind of thing. What was? I'm trying to think of a funny. Oh yeah, W.C. Fields' tombstone says, "I'd rather be here than Cleveland." I think it's Cleveland.
I think it is, yeah.
Hey, what do you think?
I think mine would say something along the lines of, Ben, keep your hands off.
Yeah, that's a good point. Do you think that that Hal and Ben are going to patch things up in this fits? Do you want that to happen? Do you want to see like a patching up between the brothers, or do you like that dramatic tension kind of moving forward?
It has been kind of fun. When they first proposed the idea, I was like, oh, here we go. Here's a love triangle. But I think it made us all really buckle down and find out what your motivation is behind it. And the thing I wanted to have come of it was that you could identify with each of the three characters and justify why they were doing what they were doing. And I feel like we've done a pretty good job of that. And I'd like to see us resolve it at some point, but right now we've got a nice little tension going on.
Yeah. Well, as a companion question before we take another one, heading into the 5th and final season, I don't know. I mean, I don't know what the fans think, but I would love to see like a showdown to the death between Tom and Pope. Is that something you're interested in?
Yeah. Well, it's interesting. Actually, I thought the epitaph question, I thought it was going to be, because this is our last and final season, season 5. That's it. So I thought you were going to say, like, if you were going to die on the show, how would you want to die? So I've been spending some time thinking about it. I've been talking to David, the head writer and stuff, because I'd like to see if I can, have a hand in. Well, first off, not that Pope was ever going to die, but I think it'd be cool to go out. And if you're going to go out, how are you going to go out? You're going to go out in a ball of fire? How are you going to do it? So I've been spending some time thinking about it. So I've got a few ideas, but I'm not going to say them here because I don't know what's going to happen, and it'll spoil the surprise.
But you would like that showdown between Mason and Pope? Like, yeah. Would you dig that idea?
Yeah, it's always been. It was certainly there more so in the beginning than lately. But yeah, I always thought that was a really, really cool thing. I've always seen Pope and Mason as kind of being different sides of the same coin. They just took two different paths in life. So yeah.
Yeah. Hi.
This is Eric. Hold on.
Hey guys, thanks for being here. I want to say some of the most amazing storytelling and acting on television right now. So we appreciate that. It's great show. Happy to see Pope get a love interest finally. Something really cool. I want to ask you guys, how much influence do you have on your love interest storylines in the show? Do you guys have any control over that? Or do they just say, here, this is what it is?
It's, I would say there is a little interaction. The writers are always open to hearing whatever your thoughts are. And usually before every season, we'll start out and go in the writing room and we'll get to chat with them. They'll sort of give you an idea of where you're going to go. Some of those things actually happen, some don't. It just all depends on how the story unfolds. But they're definitely open to hearing things. I like to take it as a challenge to never change anything. I like to, whatever you're going to give me, whether I like it, whether I don't like it, to figure out how to make it work. Because if you think about the things that you say sometimes, you don't always speak the most articulately or say what you mean. So it's how you say it that matters. And to me, it's been a fun little puzzle to take whatever is given to you and then make it whatever you want. Some people like to get in there and like talk with the writer. Some people just like to hear the other person's idea and sort of have this melding of the two, a nice collaboration. It's just all how you approach it.
I think with Pope, when they first had the idea or approached me with the idea of a love interest, honestly, I wasn't a big fan of it. I'm like, I'll roll with it. It's all cool. Like Drew just said, I think it's poignant. But yeah, I wasn't a big fan. I thought, Pope, love interest? Like, yeah, I don't know, So I kind of rolled with that one. Don't know if it's working or not. You guys could probably tell me more than me. But I've always seen Pope as, he's been the isolated, lone wolf, rebel kind of dude, and let's kind of stick with that for a bit. But that's it. It has. It's certainly been challenging to take the character in a direction that I wouldn't necessarily have gone in. But again, that's part of the challenge, part of the fun, really.
And I'm not sure how many of you have realized, but we've had basically 3 different writing staffs, completely changed. So, there's good and bad that comes with that. Every time that you think it's going one way, you get a new writing staff, they want to make their impression. So that's what's kept it pretty exciting and unpredictable, which I think we've all enjoyed.
Yeah, cool. Hi, over here.
Hi.
Hello.
This season has been decidedly creepier than the previous seasons. Do you ever go home at night and just go, ugh?
That's funny, because I'll read the script sometimes, knowing I've got to do a creepy scene the next day, and I'll almost have this talk with myself like, all right, come on, dream about this tonight. Make it really creepy so we can see what it feels like and then replicate it tomorrow, and it never happens.
I've probably only had one creepy moment, and it's actually, you'll see it. It's coming up, so it's on Sunday night. But I had to, I don't want to give anything away, but I had to bite, for lack of a better, let's just call it like an umbilical cordy thing. And I had to bite it, and there was this black oozy goo that was in it, alien goo. And I had to bite it and what have you, and that was just weird doing it on the day. And it was weird because it wasn't, I'd bite it and then it was still kind of dribbling out. And I said, oh, put on more pressure, and then it still wasn't really giving the effect. So I told the guy, I said, look, just crank this mother, right? Just crank it up, man. And when I bit it, boom, bam! Man, did it nail me, totally nailed me. But that was one of those, kind of moments.
I love doing these panels, because these are things I had no idea even happened.
I'm a big fan of practical effects, so I need to know what was the umbilical cord thingy made out of, and then the substance, the black goo. What did it taste like?
It was basically, actually the goo. They're not going to give you goo.
No real alien
goo was used in the show, but I forget. It was like because it had to bite and stretch. But it was like a tube essentially, and they fuddled with it, made it look
juicy hot dog.
Yeah. That was an interesting moment for me.
Whatever they stuff Slim Jims in, probably just like yeah. Think about that. Hi.
Is it working? All right. 2 quick comments, and I have a question for Colin. Number one, the solution to your problem is a bar Sunday night. I mean, if it's, you don't want to use a ballroom and it's too big for your room, just find a bar. Secondly, I got to see Secretariat last year, which actually was a great film.
Isn't that cool?
Unfortunately, now I keep expecting Hal Mason to talk about a sneak attack or something as a select opportunity. And I'm just looking for that every episode. It kind of ruins it for me. My question is relating to Pope's character. I think we'd all agree that sort of the definitive archetype for that is Sawyer from Lost. And there's no escaping the fact, you look at the fan sites and comments and everything, that everybody draws that parallel. And I'm wondering, as an actor, do you make a conscious effort to try and distinguish your performance from that? I know you don't control the writing and the scripts and everything, but do you take sort of inspiration from that? And how does that work for you?
No, first off, I'll take that as a compliment, and it is a compliment, so thank you. The interesting thing there is that I never saw Lost. I've never seen a single episode, and so I've heard that, hey man, just like Sawyer in Lost, but apparently he was a really, really cool part of that show or something, so I'm like, okay, cool, thanks. I never, all I did was for the audition, I thought, okay, what do I want to do here? And I didn't know what the show was. It was some alien show. There's a lot of them, so I make a point never to ask in auditions, because if it's a big deal, I don't want to freak out, and if it's a little deal, I don't want to walk in and, like I'm above it, or, you put in the work. But, so when even the audition, I thought, okay, I want to go, because this is the way I look, So I cut myself a goatee, I went to the dollar store and just got a bunch of stick-on tattoos and put on the wig, made the decision to put on the wig, and just did my slant on it. I know sometimes I've heard from agents and stuff, it's like, well, you want to watch the show that you're auditioning for. I thought, for me, no. The answer is that's the last thing I want to do, because usually shows suck and the actors suck and I don't want to even know. So I want to go in and just do something that I want to do, at least that way it's authentic or organic or, whatever words you use when you're talking about such nonsense. But I'll take that as a compliment, and thank you very much. I should just YouTube Sawyer Lost and take a look at this dude, see what the deal is.
Just keep on keeping on, man.
There you go.
Yeah. Well, we actually have a surprise panelist for all of you guys to come on out here. And we need to grab a mic and a chair to make that happen. Oh, wait, it's already lined up here. Please show your love for Scarlett, who plays Lexi on the show. Yeah. Thank you.
There we go. Welcome.
Yeah.
Sorry, I got lost.
Oh my God, that's right. I never hear her talk with an accent. And she doesn't flip in and out in character. She just, that's why I forget that you're not originally from here. Anyway, cool.
Well, welcome to the panel, and happy to have you. This is exciting.
Tom Mason's going to be here. We're just kind of filing in.
Please welcome Richard Dean Anderson.
I feel like this is Falling Skies meets Jerry Springer. Just like, well, it's funny you say that, Colin, because backstage, yes. All right, so we're just going to continue with the questions. But let me ask, like, joining the cast, this season, what were some of the exciting parts and challenges to joining an established cast for you?
Well, the scary part was that everyone is so close. And so it really did feel like joining a new school. So I was literally, that's the only thing I can kind of relate it to. But everyone was so lovely, like when I got there, because I've not really traveled that far on my own before. And so I was kind of living there for 7 months. I was like, I really hope everyone likes me. And so, yeah, everyone was just super nice. And I got on with everyone, and it was a lot of fun.
Very nice. Well, let's, I think we're over here, for questions. Hi there.
Hello. I was wondering, since you mentioned you guys are really close-knit, is there any practical joking that goes on the set or off between the different actors?
We get asked that question a lot, and I feel like we're all pretty fun people, but our show is very ambitious for what it is. The amount of days we shoot it in is about 7.5, 8 days, and for the amount of effects and everything, which some of you are like, it took that long? Geez. But that's actually pretty quick for the amount of action that we do and the different locations and whatnot. So there's not a whole lot of time for that. Noah Wiley sets a really nice tone for everyone of showing up very prepared, knock these scenes out. I mean, I'd say getting 3 takes is average, if not long, for us. So you don't have a whole lot of time to play around. But some good stories would come from Noah back when he was on ER. Now, they would cut up all the time back then. Apparently, George Clooney, as many of you have probably heard from different interviews, was always up to something. They used to do different jokes about, they'd take bets on how many takes it would take to say these huge, crazy, jargony monologues they had to do. And sometimes they would just flub them just so the particular person that was going to win wouldn't. Like, they'd be at the end of the speech and then they'd go, I forgot the line. And then that person would be all upset because they didn't win. But we actually don't do a whole lot. Most of our laughs come from trying to do something seriously.
We're not nice or fun people. It's just the environment is, and it can be dangerous too. We got explosions and there's stuff, and so it's more acting focused on the stuff.
Yeah. Well, I think what it is I certainly do a lot of panels. I interact with a lot of different fan communities, and I think when a show has a fan culture around it, people feel so connected to the show on a personal level that it's natural to assume that there's like that prank and kind of humor backstage, but it's also a grueling job where you guys are knocking out like 12 episodes, a season. So, but that's a good question. Hi.
It's great to have you guys here. I'm thrilled. I'm really looking forward to the last season, though I'm sad it's going to be the last season. My question is, Tom Mason has been the drive of the show, pretty much. I mean, you guys are all involved, but Tom has been pretty much. Now, all of a sudden, there's a new character. Is that new character going to take over Tom's position?
Do you have a character in mind, specifically?
Yes. Matt's sister. I can't remember her name, I'm sorry. It's like,
Oh, Lexi.
Lexi on the show. Yeah.
Yes, Lexi. I'm so sorry, Lexi.
I'm wearing my glasses and I'm trying really hard to see right now. I'm squinting really bad. So when your point, I was like,
she's a cat nurse from Doctor Who.
Yes, so you have to excuse me.
Thank you. So I guess the question is, are you going to kill Tom Mason? Yeah, take over the show.
oh, you gotta wait. I'm not watching Sunday.
Oh, nice.
The wait is not too much longer.
But that just wanted to mention, I don't think there's any risk of losing Noah Wiley as the anchor for this show. He really is. It's just, I've always thought Noah was great as an actor, but boy, have I got a newfound appreciation for his skills. I think he's brilliant. He really is, and he's just done a tremendous job. And also, just even in the beginning, he'd go over every script, and he wasn't just concerned with his stuff. He was concerned for everybody's stuff, Pope's stuff, and Drew's stuff, and just everybody's stuff. So to keep the bar as high as possible. So it's really been a privilege to work with him. He's a great guy.
Welcome to Dragon Con. Falling Skies is such a badass show, it should never go off the air.
Thank you!
My question is, executive producer Steven Spielberg, how much was he involved with you guys directly in the past seasons ever?
Drew, you met him.
Yeah, I can remember testing for the show, and that was the first time I'd ever test for anything. And it got down to the very end, it was me and this other guy, and they have a certain amount of days in the contract that they have before they have to tell you, and they like to wait till the end. So we're waiting, and I couldn't help myself, so I called up my agent. I was like, hey, what's going on? Like, how does this work? I don't know how this happens. And his answer was, well, Steven Spielberg is over in Europe right now, and he's waiting to upload your video to watch it. And I thought, well, even if I don't get the job, that was awesome. So luckily I got it, and I got to meet him when we were shooting the pilot. Ridiculously hot and humid in Toronto, and we're dressed like it's wintertime, although it's July. We have background players going down left and right from heat exhaustion. It was kind of ridiculous, and so I'm doing this scene, kind of getting into mode, trying to do my thing. I don't really know how to act at this point. It's back in the beginning. And this prop guy comes up, super nice guy, but he was a little goofy. Like, we carried on and had a good time. He's like, hey man, the man is on set. And I was like, I don't know who you're talking about, dude. I'm trying to do this scene right now. Come on, like, give me a second here. He's like, no, look over there. So behind the monitors is Steven Spielberg. Mr. Spielberg is back there. I'm about to have to do my close-up, and there he is. I took a nice little breath. I said, all right, everybody has a boss. Mine's Mr. Spielberg. And it's time to show up and do this scene. So we did the scene, all was good. One of the other producers took me over to meet him. He was incredibly nice. Genuine, interested in what I had to say. He wanted to see my dirt bike that I was riding in the show, so I find myself 20 yards away from a crew of 150 or 200 talking with Mr. Steven Spielberg about Hannah Montana. Yeah, I was Hannah Montana's boyfriend on her show for like 2 or 3 episodes, and one of his daughters or granddaughters had been to one of the concerts, and he was so fascinated by the pitch that young girls squeal when Miley Cyrus would take stage. So we were talking about Miley Cyrus and Hannah Montana.
That is surreal and awesome. I love it. Let's take one over here. Hi.
Hello? Okay, good. I just wanted to say that as a lifelong cynic, I really love Pope. Because out of all the characters, everybody else on the show is looking for some sort of hope or humanity, and Pope just sort of tells it like it is. And so I just wanted to ask if there's a special sort of joy you get from being the contrarian on the show. When things are bad, you just say it's really, really bad.
Well, I found it wonderful that Pope, in spite of the character and the bells and whistles, he's always the guy to tell the truth. And that's just been a neat quality of the character, and it's all strictly in the writing. If anything, look, I've just been really, really blessed to play such a character. I'm not a big fan of my own face. My favorite actors are all character actors. And to literally put on the wig and put on the sticky tattoos and to go out there and become somebody else for a little while is just such a treat for me personally. And to do it with such a great cast, it just really has. It's been the part of a lifetime. And as far as I'm concerned, I got one of the best parts on television. I mean, I really do. So I'll be sad and sorry to say thank you very much. Yeah, it's just been, it really has. It's been awesome. And the cool thing is that that although you're on, Steven Spielberg's show, and there's a lot of incredibly talented people in the crew and what have you behind the camera, they still let me play. Because I'm an actor that likes to stretch things. I wouldn't say improv, I'm not improving, but sometimes you got to go outside the lines a little bit in order to make it your own, or just something will come up. And they've been confident enough as veteran writers, veteran producers, to, if it works, cool. I'm not the kind of actor that would ever go up to, I learned that lesson a long time ago, you don't go up to a director or somebody and say, hey, I've got an idea, or ask them a question. What you do is you show them. You don't ask nobody nothing. Never ask anybody for permission, you ask them for help. But do the thing and then have them say yes or no. So and they've allowed me the freedom to do that, and a lot of shows aren't like that, man. They're counting every friggin' comma, and it can be really controlling and what have you. But for the same token, it also is a challenge, as Drew was saying, to get some text that you may not necessarily even like. And the challenge then is to really, how do I make this work? How do I bring it to life when in fact your heart isn't necessarily behind it? You gotta look for ways to make it sing. But thank you, I appreciate it.
Well, you mentioned when you auditioned, you put on the wig, and I'm curious across the table here, when was the moment that you felt like you owned this character, where you got this character enough that you could say, okay, well, this is what this guy or woman is going to do, because it starts out as an idea in somebody's head, and then it's words on the page, but then the actors have to come in and own that character. So when did you each feel like you owned your character?
Well, for me, it was probably after the entire first season, because you just don't know, and we got to move on, we got to go. So it's not like you're getting constant feedback, and I was taking some chances, and you just don't know until you see it. So I think that's my answer to that. What about you guys?
Well, with me, it was when I got my full costume and wig, because I tried on 7 different wigs. Mm-hmm. My testing was going on for like 2 straight weeks. Everyone was already working and I hadn't even started. Wow. And I was constantly in hair and makeup.
Testing the look.
Yeah, the look, yeah. So, I was looking like Daenerys from Game of Thrones one day, and then I looked like Snow White, and I was like, oh my god, what do they want? So until I finally got that, then I felt more like her. But she's so complex anyway. At the beginning, I was totally lost as well. Everyone had their own kind of input, and when I spoke to David Icke, he kind of told me where she was going to end up, but I had no idea what was going to happen in the middle. So it wasn't until they were kind of just like, do what you think you should do, and if someone doesn't like it, then they'll tell you. And I was like, okay, I'm just going to go along and do that, because I don't want to upset anyone, I don't want to do the wrong thing. So, but yeah, thankfully it worked out, so.
That's such a hard piece of advice, of just do what you want to do, and we'll let you know if you suck.
I don't hear anything is good, so I was like, oh god, thank God.
I feel like I find the character every night that I go to bed before I go hit stage, and I'm like, I got it. And then I show up on stage and go, oh no, I don't know what I'm doing. I feel like it's still something that's ever evolving, and some scenes you'll nail, and sometimes you show up and you go, oh my gosh, what happened? There's just so many factors. You show up, you might have pictured the layout of the room a certain way, and then it's not that way, and then all your ideas went out the door, which as an actor you're never supposed to have any ideas. And it's something that you learn when you work on a show this long. You just gotta show up and play off of whatever is there, right there. And it really is such a relief once you trust yourself to do that. Because before you're trying to get everything just like you want it, and no, you can't say your line that way, you gotta stand right there and say it this way. But if you'll just let it go on, it's just like carrying on a conversation. If I'm talking to you, I don't know what you're gonna do, but I gotta listen, and then you play off of that, and that to me is what's so much fun of what we do.
Point, you don't know, and sometimes one of the best feelings is sometimes you'll do a scene and they'll say, oh man, that was awesome. And you can't even remember what you did, because you were just there. It wasn't anything that you'd planned. It wasn't anything you thought about. It was no idea. You were just talking, having a conversation with somebody, and they're like, oh, that was brilliant. You're like, well, I guess I'll have to go and see it later or something, because you don't know. Just why like that?
Is that a matter of just being present in a scene and not thinking, just being there?
Just keep in mind, there's getting out of your own way, because anytime you're nervous, you lose a lot of your I remember doing these things. I would say things that were ridiculous. I'd think afterwards, like, what did I just say? What was going on? And then you come out here and you're just relaxed, and it's so much.
Death for any actor, especially in a scene, is if you can hear your own voice. Like you're aware that you're speaking, you can hear your own voice. You know, it's God, what was I going to say? I was going to say something that you said, and I totally forgot.
My bad, man, my bad.
Oh, that's what I wanted to say. Yeah. Basically, keep in mind, it's like, you know, you got to do a scene, and I'm looking at Drew, and behind Drew, there's 60 people. There's 60 people. Yeah, somebody, but whatever. But there's 60 people, and there's the lighting guy, and the boom person, and the sound, blah 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 blah. So not only have they all got to disappear, but then you got to focus on what you're doing, what the scene is, and listening to the other actor, and then you got to hit that. I mean, so there's a lot of things that need to just completely go away. And that's a trick in itself, you know, to just pretend like these, and it's what's weird is that it actually happens. You you make them disappear. You're so focused on the other person that nothing else exists on the planet. You're not on a set, you're not making a movie, you're not doing any of that. You're literally just talking to whoever you're talking to. It took me a long time to figure it out anyway.
Except for the guy with the burrito. Let's take one, I think. Where did we leave off? Over here? Hi.
Hey guys, Colin, I've been a big fan of yours since Stargate. My question is, what vehicle or weapon was your favorite to use on the show?
On Stargate?
No, on Falling Skies.
Okay, I was saying on Stargate, it would have been my briefcase. My favorite weapon on the show. See, because you guys have been able to, you got all sorts of different kind of weapons and stuff.
Yeah, you've got a mind. You've got superhero.
I know I got the shotgun a lot. I think I just like the original handgun. It was like an old Western 6-shooter, and that was just, I just thought kind of cool. And it was actually the prop guy, or the handler, or whatever, whoever does the weapons guy. He says, I was thinking, it was his choice. And I thought, dude, that's the way to go. Because they think about whatever. So instead of giving me some semi-automatic blah, 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 Glock or some funky thing, he just was like, only held 6 bullets, you know. Pretty worthless, you know, when you're fighting aliens and opposed, you know, should have had something else. But I just thought it was kind of cool.
Very cowboy kind of thing for Pope to be, it would make sense.
Exactly.
What about you guys?
I remember the very first day showing up back on the pilot, and they had probably 7 of these tables lined up with every kind of gun you have ever seen in your entire life. And they're like, pick one. You're like, oh, okay, here we go. And actually, you got to pick 2. You got to pick your rifle and a handgun. And so I remember going through there and looking at all of them, and I'm from Alabama. I should know more about weapons, but I didn't know anything. I had a BB gun when I was a kid. That was it. And so, Birmingham, all right, Clanton right here. So I remember going through all these things, not knowing anything, and I picked out my gun. I think it was an M4. It was an M4 assault rifle, and I thought it was the coolest thing. And then I noticed that all the background people had an M4, and all the other TV shows had M4s. I was like, I gotta get something a little more special. So I started looking around, and a mech actually crushed that gun in the 4th episode of the 1st season. And I thought, okay, I'm gonna go see that whole thing again and talk with the guys. So I have a Micro Galil now.
What?
A Micro Galil. It's like an AK-47, but it's Israeli made. And I love the thing. I named it. Its name is Zelda. I can now take Zelda completely apart and put it back together, put her back together, blindfolded. That is a testament to how much we don't do on set. We have so much free time. I'm over there putting my gun together like Forrest Gump, and then...
That's pretty cool. Yeah. Well, Scarlett, as cool as that is, you have Jedi powers, so...
I don't need a gun. But saying that though, I remember Drew said to me when I first started, he was like, because it was really sunny when I first started in Vancouver, and I was like, oh, this is great, it's going to be so nice, and I was all white and clean, and he was like, trust me, this is not going to last long. But surprisingly, it didn't rain once when I worked outside. Wow. Whenever it rained, I was in a studio.
That's crazy.
So you
It also was a very easy winter this past, because the East Coast, you guys got so much snow and stuff that the West Coast, it was the easiest, mildest winter that we've had.
Well, I saw something today that was very, very cool. I wonder if she's here, but I was talking to a young lady fan earlier today that had, her necklace was the 3 circles. Are you here?
Oh, cool.
There she is, yeah.
Oh, rock on.
Are you wearing it?
Scallion.
Cool, just so she can see it. Check it out. But I thought, how cool is that?
That's really cool.
Yeah, round of applause. Anyway, thank you very much.
Thank you.
I really wanted to be dirty like everyone else and have a gun, and I didn't get one. But I got powers instead, so.
Well, who knows? Maybe you'll get a gun next season, or just be like, yeah. Hi.
Hi. First off, I'd like to say that this is one of the best shows on TV right now. You're welcome. My question is, as an actor, you have to, especially with this type of gritty show, you have to get really into your characters, and I was wondering how your personal emotions changed from reading the script to doing the scenes to going home and actually watching the show.
Personal notions? So
personal emotions.
Emotions. Oh, okay. Emotion.
You know, I feel like at this point, we've got these characters, we've done these characters for so long that you can almost see where something is going to go, or like as soon as you read it, I'm kind of knowing already how I'm going to respond, as opposed to when I'm back in town and I'm auditioning, as I'm reading it, I'm figuring out what I want to do. Now I just know my relationship with Maggie is this, my relationship with Pope is this, Ben it's this, Tom it's this, and you can sort of just go whichever direction. As far as reading it to performing it to seeing it, a lot of times when you read it, you kind of do have those moments that make your heart skip, like, oh, what are we doing? How am I going to, what is this? But you figure out how it's going to work. And then when you perform it, or at least I feel this way, I usually feel pretty good about it. Like, okay, all right, I feel like that could be cool. And then you go watch it, and the amount of power that an editor has is sometimes brilliant and sometimes devastating. You'll be like, oh man, I worked all night for that one line, and now it's not there. So it's very fascinating. A lot of people don't watch what they do. I enjoy it because I like to see that other art form, the art form of the edit, and see what that does. It also helps tremendously when you do things like this, that you've seen the show again, and you can remember what you did, because, man, I'll get off, I mean, you're just banging these things out so quick that once you're done, you'll forget what you did.
Yeah. Do you guys watch the episodes as they air? Yeah.
I don't, but not because I don't want to. For whatever reason, you can get the show in Bolivia, but you can't watch it in Canada.
Really?
Yeah, well, it was. I don't know, but anyway, or wasn't there that night. But in Canada, yeah, it's hard to find. So I'm starting to download it illegally now.
Did we mention that there's a TNT rep in the back of the room? And hi there.
Hello. I love the show. Adore you guys. What a fabulous cast it's been. And this question is for all of you, but starting with Colin. So what's been your most favorite Pope moment over the entire series?
Can we start with Drew? I gotta think. Anybody got a quicker question for that? Or a quicker answer, rather?
Let's see. Favorite? Do you want to know, like, the most exciting, entertaining, the one I enjoy the most, the one that I watch and I feel like, that felt good?
Yes, all around. I think it's open to interpretation. Like,
so back in day one.
Yeah.
Let's see. I love doing the action sequences. Those to me are so much fun. Very dangerous though. Like, even though you're not shooting real bullets, there's still, if there's a charge coming out of the end, you can burn somebody with it. If one of the little things, it's kind of like a little crimped finger at the end of those little fake bullets we have. If when they open up, one of them flies off, well, now you have a projectile, which is a bullet. And sometimes we give these things out to a bunch of the extras, and you get nervous. Everybody gets nervous. When I first started shooting, I'd be nervous. If you ran in front of me, I might shoot you and not even mean to. So you kind of gotta like.
If I could count the amount of times you said that to me.
So there's something pretty special about doing these action sequences, and then you have to remember that when you guys see it, there's an awesome alien there that's coming after us and it's menacing. When we're doing this, it's some grip who's got a big long C-stand, a big metal pole, and a big sphere on top of it, and he's running at you, and he's the guy that was eating the burrito earlier, and he's coming at you, and you got to be like, he's coming, and you're running, and you're cruising around, and so it's funny sometimes that after a scene, you'll think, wow, we are just playing like a bunch of little kids in the backyard, and it's fantastic.
Well, Lexi's so cool anyway, with all the powers and everything. And I really enjoyed working with all the special effects, and that was really fun. But my favorite scene is coming up this weekend. So I don't want to give it away, but it was with Moon.
Okay.
So you'll see it, but I really enjoyed it. It was fun.
And I would say, now that I've thought about it, the scene from season 1, I think it was the 2nd episode, and it was a scene in the, what was it, a gym or a theater or whatever, when we first meet Pope's introduction. And that was because I got to interact with basically all the actors, but also I remember reading it thinking, somebody screwed up. There's way too much dialogue here. Like, this thing's going to get totally cut to pieces. But I remember just really working it, and I'm surprised they kept like 90% of it. They really did. So that's my favorite, because there weren't any laser beams or spaceships or visual effects. It was just basically myself and the cast, and then the scenes with Noel, just two guys talking. And I thought, they're the hardest to pull off, because you got to keep an audience interested, and it's just two people talking. So I think that would be my favorite.
First time I ever met you. I remember seeing you play that scene thinking, oh, we got the right guy for this one. This is going to be awesome. And then eventually, when I come in and you grab us and manhandle us, I came up with the idea that, hey man, it might be cool if you throw me on the ground and pick me up by my hair. And you're like, okay, cool. And then about the 5th take, I'm like, oh god, that was a whole idea.
Bad idea. Well, you mentioned like the guys on walking around with the stick, you know, special effects gets put in later. But you do have Doug Jones on set, who is an amazing actor. Does he lend? Yes, give it up for Doug Jones. Does he add like sort of a heft or sense of gravitas to the scene when he comes in and does his scenes? Because you have this guy in pocket doing the scenes. Does he like really add that?
What's neat about Doug, the character, is that it's
Cochise.
Yeah, playing Cochise, the alien. It's not. You know, sometimes they stare at this X and talk to this little piece of tape, and we're going to do it in visual effects. What's really, really cool is that you've got someone to actually talk to, and it's a trip, and it's a trip looking at this thing. I don't have very many scenes with Doug, but it's neat when there's actually somebody actually there to do it.
And Doug has some incredibly tough dialogue with all the jargon. And as you've noticed, he's not like us, who I've got my sides, my notes, my lines in my back pocket, just in case in between a scene I'm like, I don't quite know him. He can't do that. So he's got all of these lines just down and just is on point. He's also, his eyes to look at in person are like, you can see into them, and they're really, really interesting. And I love to watch him eat.
Because the character has eyes, when you're talking to him, you're looking at his eyes. Even though he's blind, well, he's looking through his nose. So technically, it's got to be weird for him, people constantly looking at a place in his face that doesn't exist.
My scene in the field when I kill him, his head is up here, but his actual head was down here. So I'm like, so I'm having a conversation. I'm like, oh yeah, and then his voice is down here. I'm like, oh my god.
They might have their voice box located down there. So
tall, I hear the voice coming from his penis.
Not to make it weird, but to back up, you like, not the penis comment, but you like watching Doug Jones eat.
I love watching Doug eat, because he can't really see, and he's got to open his mouth up really wide. It's like, it's like all like glued in there, so he eats kind of like...
That's really mean.
Why does this video not exist as a gift to the internet? I haven't seen this.
Go follow me on Twitter and you can find that little gem.
I'm going to go watch that now. Okay, let's take a question from over here.
Great show once again, but you said a question around me with Shrenny. As a historical buff or whatever, you always realize when allies come in, too good to be true, there's ulterior motives. In the next season, the last season, do we get to see what those true motives really are for helping out?
It's a really good question, and usually we have a producer up here that helps us out with those. I'm going to take it upon my shoulders. From what I gathered from the meeting with the writers, with it being the final season, hopefully, yes, we will find out. Also, in this episode that's coming up this weekend, there's going to be something that's revealed that is going to make you go, oh great, we got to wait a whole other season now, but it's going to be the beginning of the end, essentially, and will sort of shine light onto what it could potentially be, but obviously it's going to take a whole season to really explain.
Cool. You're a producer now. Done. Yeah. Well done. Favorite episode?
Mine's the cocoon.
Cocoon? Okay.
With you going in or coming out of?
Coming out. This is the first scene I did with everyone. It was the first time.
And you know how she mentioned that the weather was so great for her that particular
Okay,
day.
that
She
one was
barely
wrong.
had anything on because they wanted her to look like she'd like just been born. Basically, it was freezing
It was-
cold.
yeah.
And
It
she
was
had
a-
this
it was
gelatinous
painful.
stuff all over her. We all felt horrible for her.
Yeah, I'd say I can't. It's one of my favorite scenes or episodes, rather. Been scenes where it's not about very little Pope. My goodness. But actually, I said to Drew, I said, look, I'm not going to say it on stage because it just sounded lame. So I told him privately aside. But so it's probably some of my favorite episodes, at least this season. Is Drew's really, he's been given a lot of cool stuff to do this year. If anything, Pope's kind of taken a little bit more of a back seat, which lets the other characters step forward and shine. And I just think some of my favorite episodes this year are just watching Drew work. I think he's done an exceptional job. I really appreciate it.
Piggybacking this with what I'm about to say, but one of my favorite episodes of the whole series is when you and Tom are out in the woods and you've crashed the plane. I just enjoyed that one so much. I love the comedy that you bring, but it's not like a ha kind of comedy. It's like real. And I love you too, brother. But when you work with this guy in a scene, sometimes you have to bite your tongue so you're not laughing because he's full on making fun of your character in a hilarious way that you all know Pope as. But as the character, sometimes you're like, dude, that was pretty funny, man. Don't talk about me like that.
Hi there.
Hi, my name is Josie, and I love the show. One question that I had was, is there a particular moment that sticks out in your mind that you just got the giggles, even though this is a serious show, and you just couldn't stop laughing?
Okay.
That sticks
Yeah.
out.
Anything with mood.
Anyone,
Hey.
all of you.
She makes you giggle.
Let's see, I know I have. Do you have anything, Colin?
No.
I'm trying to think of when. Colin never giggles. Just kidding. I know there's a time. But again, going back to the fast-paced nature of it, like, there's really not a whole lot of time for that. Actually, Jessie and I, so Jessie Schramm, who plays Karen, she and I are really good friends. And as you all know, that's a love interest of mine on the show. So sometimes, particularly in the third season, when she's coming back and she's hijacking my mind and making me walk out into the woods, when she would have to come on to me and start making out with me, we had some giggles at that moment.
Was it Jessie that did it? There was a scene, or somebody asked her to like, what was it with Connor, to totally kiss him or make out with him and freak him out?
Yeah.
What was that?
So that was the first time that when Connor's Ben is telling me, don't listen to her, then he goes in there and makes out with her. So in that scene, they weren't supposed to kiss the first time. The first time their lights or their spikes glow, which I make fun of them all the time. That's what happens. Greg Beeman was actually directing that one, and Greg and Connor, as well as Greg and Jessie, are really close, and he just came up to her and he wanted Ben to look as uncomfortable as possible, and he whispered in her ears, he was like, I want you to kiss him this time, just go for it.
Freak him right out.
And so that reaction that Connor has of like, look, you're getting pretty close. That's all real.
Thank you.
Also, because Connor at the time was a little younger.
Yeah, well, because Jesse's like my age, and Connor's, he must have been 16 at that time.
Yeah, so spun him out pretty good.
Yeah. Well, as we wrap up, there's so many shows out there that don't even last one season anymore. You guys have like 5 seasons to wrap this thing up. Is there a sense of, are you looking forward to buttoning this up and closing it up, like knowing that there is an end game to work towards? Is that satisfying as a performer?
For me, going back to the very beginning, I don't know why, but the number 5 seasons, always felt like if we make it to 5, that's awesome, and we really did something. 4 I would have been happy with, but I wouldn't have felt like we knocked it out of the park. Anything short of that, I'd have been like, well, it was a whole lot of nothing. So getting to 5, that alone is pretty fantastic. But the fact that they're telling us that this is the last season, I think we can all appreciate. Being able to put an end to it is quite a nice thing, especially with as complicated as things have gotten. I'm curious to see who's got to wrap it up. Good luck for them. But I think it's going to be really cool to see it all come back together and have these things explained that we've been wondering about from the first season, the reasons why they're here and what they're doing.
Yeah, I just think, wow, for all of us. You know, nobody had any. You have hopes, but no expectations. Not in this business, and to be a part of this, and to be able to put Steven Spielberg on your resume, and to be able to do the work that we've done, and to have it actually appreciated by all you guys. You know, I've had. You know, please come by. Just come by the table and say hi. You don't have to buy nothing. It's just nice to interact and say hi to you guys. So thank you for that. But it's just a big, incredible wow. So thank you.
Right, I don't think we have anyone else out there for questions, do we? All right, well, just final thoughts heading into the season finale this Sunday. Just anything else that you want to add, or anything you're looking forward to them seeing? I mean, you can't really spoil anything, but...
We've got like a new sort of alien that you'll see. It's not so much an alien as it is a mechanism of theirs, but it's an interesting one.
Okay.
And as you're watching it, most of it is practical effects.
Don't say alien, it's undocumented.
So as you're watching, just imagine these things like were there, and that's what we're playing with. And it was a ton of fun and crazy and silly at sometimes, but I think we should have a pretty nice finale.
Thank you guys. Also, yeah, thank you. Big round of applause for yourselves. As lame as that sounds. But also, if you don't mind, give a round of applause for Aaron. He kicked ass.
Oh, thank you. I appreciate it. Thanks. All right, DragonCon, these guys are going to be here all weekend. Make sure to stop by their table, say hi, and then show up for some other panels. Please show your love, DragonCon, for Drew Roy, Scarlett Byrne, and Colin Cunningham. Falling Skies, finale Sunday, 9 p.m. Be there, watch it, and see how season 4 wraps up. Thank you, guys.